The Bermuda Triangle, one of the biggest unsolved mysteries of our time. A place where ships, planes, and passengers disappear without the slightest notice. Not a distress call, not a warning, and no wreckage to follow. Although we call the Great Northwest our home and not the sunny beaches of Miami, it doesn't make the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle any less intriguing. The 3 points of the Devil's Triangle lie at the island of Bermuda, the coast of Florida at Miami, and the island of Puerto Rico. There are over 1.5 million square miles of water in this area. The name, the Bermuda Triangle, was first coined by Vincent Gaddis in Argosy magazine in 1964 after a fleet of U.S. bombers went missing in the area. There are many myths, legends, and theories that have been said to be the reason for the strange occurrences in the triangle, stretching all the way from alien interference and abductions to time travel, to big bubbles, and to things much more simple, such as bad weather and big waves. But there is not one theory that has been proven consistently to be the cause of the disappearances and abnormalities. And this is because people are looking for one defining factor. The Bermuda Triangle is not a mystery explained by one theory. It is much less of a mystery than we think. It is a mixture of unfortunate events, all with unique explanations. December 5th, 1945, the infamous Flight 19, the jumpstart to the Bermuda Triangle craze. On this day, 5 U.S. Avenger planes, holding 14 men, one short of a full crew, set off on a routine training mission and never came back. There was a communication between the lead pilot and the control tower, saying there had been a malfunction and that their instruments, and most importantly their compasses, had stopped working. The planes were thought to be as far as 300 miles off course. They finally lost communication with the planes indefinitely. They sent a search party to find the missing planes, where they had assumed to be, but no wrecks, no floating planes, and no automatic distress signals were ever seen or heard from. Meteorologist David Paris found an explanation for what happened on that day. He introduces an idea of electric fog. Paris says the fog comes from solar winds coming to Earth having a high electromagnetic force. Paris thinks this powerful charge can electrify clouds in the lower atmosphere, causing instruments to malfunction and navigation systems to be askew, which would be the cause for both the radio not working and the reason why the head pilot got lost. Paris says the weather conditions on that day were ideal for an electric fog storm. He believes these malfunctions, mixed with the inexperience of the pilots, led to the demise of Flight 19. Another one of the Bermuda's most famous victims was the USS Cyclops, captained by John Worley. The 542-foot vessel was traveling from Barbados to Norfolk, but it, along with its 309 crew members and cargo of manganese ore, failed to arrive. In spite of the massive search, no trace was ever found, and no distress call was ever heard. It had been originally thought that the ship had been torpedoed, but a search of German records following the war proved that no submarines were active in the area at the time. There is an old mariner's tale that describes the sea literally opening up and swallowing ships. And as ridiculous as this may sound, a large group of people believe this is what happened to the Cyclops. There are large pockets of methane hydrate gas trapped on the ocean floor. A small underwater landslide or earthquake would release this gas. Within seconds of the pocket rupturing, the gas surges up and erupts on the surface without warning. According to Bill Dillon, a research geologist in the United States, if a ship were in the area of the blowout, the water beneath it would suddenly become much less dense, giving the illusion of the ocean opening up. The vessel could sink and sediment could quickly cover it as it settles onto the sea floor. This would leave no wreckage, and anyone who abandoned ship would be pulled down by the drag of the vessel in the low-density water. This same thing has been known to be the reason for the sinking of multiple oil rigs, and they have caught on camera an oil platform who hit a similar pocket, nearly sinking it. Even with all the explanations, people still have questions. One of the biggest is, with all the ships and planes going missing, why is there rarely any wreckage found? Dave Fiat, Chief of Marine Forecast Branch of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Marine Prediction Center, points out that the Gulf Stream may be to blame. The Gulf Stream is a 40 to 50 mile wide river within the Atlantic Ocean that runs on the west side of the triangle. This powerful current could sweep away any evidence of a crash in a plethora of different directions. The stream also brings something else: big waves. An 8-foot wave outside the Gulf Stream could be 3 or 4 times higher within. We have the answer to what happens to the ships and planes, and we have the answer as to how the wreckage seems to disappear. But still, one question remains. Why that area? What is the reason for the concentration between Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and Florida? The answer is quite simple. The area is one of the most highly trafficked for amateur pilots and sailors. So more traffic leads to more accidents and disappearances. This is where the overwhelming numbers come from. The infamy comes from the big ones like Flight 19 and Cyclops. There are many theories said to be the puppet master behind the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. And who knows, they might all be true. But the fact that 2 of the most famous disappearances had 2 very different explanations proves that there is no single factor. It is no more logical to try to find one theory for all the disappearances in the triangle, as it is to find one cause that led to all car accidents in the state of Oregon in the last 100 years. If you look at each incident separately, instead of trying to find a headline for the Bermuda Triangle itself, the mystery begins to unravel. The mystery of the Bermuda Triangle is not a mystery at all. Careless research, the use of misconceptions, faulty reasoning, and sensationalism all played a part in the legend that we know today. The Bermuda Triangle is not explained by one theory. It is a mixture of unfortunate events, all with unique explanations.